Good afternoon. Well, as you know, possibly, if you watched yesterday, I have been working on a particular bookmark. Progress is slow, but frankly, remarkably rewarding. So, if I switch to my magic pillow, and I turn that off for now, turn you off for now, right, because I seem to be not yawning at the moment. It's just a distraction. If I get my two piles bobbing out the way slightly, and we look back at the beginning, you can see now two flowers. Now, frankly, okay, so the first one, this one, has a mistake in it. So does the third one. I know this already, and in fact there is a bit of a mistake outside. So let me get a pin of pointing. Mind you, that's not very big. Let's use bobbin of pointing. So, there's a little mistake at the top of this here, she says, seeing if we can. If you look, the circle's not quite round. There's a big hole here, not quite sure what the fuck happened there, but something happened there. There is also something funky just here. This should be over here somewhat, and this should be part of this circle. So, faux pas number 26. But all in all, not so bad. Now, it could be worse, that's for sure. Could be better, but given that this is still early days, that's right, it's quite difficult to rotate this because it's kind of a bit big, almost a bit big for my hand. It needs some form of leverage to truly do. Now, actually, we're going to bring it back a couple of, we're going to bring it back a notch, because we need to work on this bit up here, really. So I have done a flower under here, not that you can overly see it, but you may be aware I have kind of processed this whole diagonal here. I have made a start on the flower over here. This was so that I could progress the complete the flower on the other side, because I needed the diagonal to do that. So we kind of probably need some of you. I need the dog not to be sitting there, but never mind, that's not going to happen. So we now can unpin some of you, and well, yeah, so let's have a look what we can do. We can send you out, I think. No, you need two. 1, 2, 3. I ordered me some more bookmark patterns. I also found a thing on eBay, as you do, for some poor soul's lace collection remnants, and sadly I missed out on a number of the items that I wanted, because in true usual eBay form, you're the highest bidder, 2 minutes to go, highest bidder, highest bidder, 4 bids come in the last second, right? So I missed a couple, but there was one where they put 2 folders up, and an option to submit a bid, submit an offer. So I did, and I won those two. And one of the folders is almost purely Bucks Point lace. The other... Morning! Well, afternoon for me, but morning for you. Hello. So yes, this poor soul's lace collection. This is why I often go with. If it's any consolation, I usually say morning, even at like 6 o'clock at night. So morning is perfectly acceptable. Because somewhere it's probably morning. But yeah, so I've got this poor woman's, well, 2 binders for her collection. Missed out on 2, aiming for a 3rd because that also looks Buck Point kind of shenanigans. Now I've got to work out how this is working. So you two, I need you to go over here. I still don't have these flowers down pat, I totally admit this, but I do definitely have a much better idea when I've shafted it one, so that's always a good thing. So you now come up through here. 1, 2. Up through here. 1, 2. And up through here. 1, 2. And through you. 1, 2. Dot under there? No, there is. But there aren't any more oh, there is more bobbins. But you need... Hang on. See, this is what I occasionally manage to do. I do something too soon. Which is you. 1, 2, 3. I need to get a pin first. So yes, I'm definitely getting better with these, but I've got this lovely lady's folder of patterns. And that doesn't look right, because you should come out there, and then you shouldn't really be at an angle. Let me do you a second. Pulled on you too hard. It might be. Anyway, you need to go out through here. And in it are a number of the things she made. It's under a pile of shite, or I dig some of it out. But in there, see, you're all beautifully good, and you're less good. Why are you two? I have a feeling that I have shafted this, so let's undo this momentarily, because you just look wrong. Because let's face it, you looked wrong before I started, and I recognised this, but I tried anyway, and it didn't make it better. Because sometimes it makes it better, sometimes it doesn't make it better. I think I did you too soon. I think you came in, you would go that way, which would be right, but I need you. Well, yes and no. So, the truth of the matter is, you do not need fancy crap, right? Let me introduce you to one of my favourite lace cushions. Here it is. If I turn it over, you'll soon realise it's slightly Heath Robinson. This is the foam cooler lid. Well, to be honest, you'd be surprised. So, foam cooler lid. I put a piece of felt on it to give the pins slightly less chance of digging out the foam. And wrapped a piece of cloth on it. The cloth type is irrelevant. Just wrap it in a piece, preferably cotton-ish because it won't go fluffy, right? Now you have a pillow. You need some pins. Any pins will do. Frankly, honestly, any pins will do. Then, you need some thread. Well, any sewing thread will do as a starter. So if you've got the last Bucks Point one I did with some machine serger thread. And it, to be honest, was kind of perfectly fine. This is some size 40 crochet cotton. There it is. This is some size 40 crochet cotton that I paid next to nothing for. And as for bobbins, well, bobbins purely are there to hold the thread while you chuck it around. You can use anything. Many people have started off with clove pegs. Now, I initially, when my brain first said, hey, let's do some lace, made the cooler lid, and I used some of those dolly clothes pegs, you know, the really big ones with the heads that, you know, people used to use to paint faces on to put the thing over the toilet. Yeah, one of those. I used a bunch of those. Now, they are a little big, but they work. So you can do this for cheap next to nothing. You do not have to fall into the Liz pit of kleptomania and want some of everything. In terms of sticks, which are really useful, the Prim knitting needle ones, which are metal with the elastic that I was using before, they are really good. They're kind of nice and strong. They hold everything still. They're perfectly good, like those. Then all you really need is a piece of paper and to prick some holes in it. Well, you don't even need to do that, arguably. To prick the holes, you can use a knit pin, right? You do not need fancy schmancy stuff. It is tempting to get the fancy stuff, and so to try it, go cheap. Seriously, go cheap. If you enjoy the process of making the lace and what you produce, I mean, my word of advice is expect cat bath from the Yes, do what I did when I was about 9, which is get yourself some square paper. If you're using standard sewing cotton, this will be fine. I have, she says, looking around and it's not here, some 1mm square graph paper which I got off Amazon. 1mm and very thin thread square paper works out pretty well. So what you do is, in a square, you put a dot where square corners are, so you can have the 45-degree angles, and you can either start on a straight, you can start on a point, choice is yours. There are lots of videos on YouTube, and I wholly recommend starting with torsion lace because it's 45-degree angles. Everything kind of I won't say it's more logical. Everything is much more in order. You don't have some of the shenanigan crap that I'm doing in this. Which is why I'm struggling with some of the shenanigan crap, because like this bit of thread has to come in, go round a pin and go out again, but you don't actually work that pin the way that you would in, say, torsion. So she says, looking for, hang on, let me dig some stuff out. Let me drop that down there because we don't want that. See, I ordered some more pretty things. Let me flip this over and put that on it and that on it. Remove my snap and the empty tin. As I said, everything's under a pile of shite. But when it comes to torsion, she says, looking. That's not a good example. Why is this not a good example when I want one? I'm not going to find a single thing in here I want, am I? And with torsion, well, let's pretend these dots are on a 45-degree angle. They're not, but it's close. To do this point, it is fed by the two 45-degree point angles. Let me zoom in so you can see this a bit better. Right, hang on. So, let's make a bit of a gap here. So, any point, she says that's too high. And I don't suppose I can go any higher, can I? Oh, I can. There we go. Let me get a pointy stick. There's a pointy stick. So if we were going to do, let's stick a pin in it, this spot here, right? It is fed by the spot up to the right and the spot up to the left. In torsion, this is always absolutely 100% true. Now, these aren't at 45-degree angle, but principle applies, right? And this, all you have to do is whatever stitches you choose to do, you can follow it. So if, for example, I was doing all of this in cloth stitch, you can ignore all of the contents in between, and you start there, you work across the pairs, till you get to the side, put a pin in it, right? The same's true for half stitch, the same's true for whole stitch. The whole stitch is not cloth stitch. Whole stitch is cloth stitch with an extra twist on the end. It gives you a kind of funny look, but it's useful. I would suggest do some strips of do a couple of strips of a stitch just to practice the stitch. Then when you have made some strips, they look remarkably, even if they're thin, even if they're like, you know, 2 centimeters wide, they look a little like bookmarks. So then on some paper you can start making spots in the bookmark. So you can make like a diamond shape, and then you can do one stitch outside the diamond shape and a different stitch inside the diamond shape. There are quite a few free torsion patterns on the internet. Torsion spelt Torchon. There are quite a few torsion patterns free on the internet. Torsion is generally recommended for beginners, mainly because, well, there aren't many rules other than you can do any pin you have the 2 diagonal pins for, right? So it is quite an easy thing to work out where you were at, what you were doing, because everything is lined out absolutely. Part of the reason something like this is more confusing, as I say, is because you've got bits in the flower where this thick thread goes in and out and kind of has to do a backtrack and round itself and up its butt and you know, frankly, you know, does shenanigans, and by doing shenanigans, it makes it more complicated. But the principles are always the same. There is cross, left over right. There is twist, right over left. Combinations or repetitions of those form every given stitch. And there are, as I say, there are some videos. There are lots of videos on YouTube on how to do that from very good, sensible people. You can also pay for videos. Don't bother with the paid ones. They're not any better. In fact, some of them are worse. So there's definitely some good ones on there. But it's one of those things is, I like my squares that I'm using for my net curtain. I designed those. Now, I'm not an experienced person, but I bet like me, you can colour in the squares, you can shade, you can shade in bits, you can draw lines on things. That's all it takes. If I was doing this in torsion, which, let me show you one of the bookmarks that I got today, because it looks very torsion-like. It's just on the wrong grid, really. Hang on. I bought it. Why did I buy it? Because, right? So, if you look at this, you could do this in torsion. You could do half stitch on the outside, or torsion ground, and then cloth stitch, just like this. And instead of having more diamond shapes, they would be square. Therefore, you wouldn't need quite so many to get to the bottom to make a long thing, and you wouldn't have the nasty picos along the edge, which we don't talk about because we don't like picos. But you don't do picos in torsion as so much as a rule. So, yay, Tenchi! So you could easily draw something like this by making a diamond, or even just having diamonds that repeat down a shape and do 2 different stitches. I've missed you, my friend. I've missed you, Tench. So you could you could almost recreate this in torsion without going too particularly insane, just from the picture, because you've got a square graph. Off you do. You go, well, faff. Then I must do this. Hang on. Why is this shit never in the... I've got one typing in box on the whole screen, and somehow the focus is not on it. That too. Now I need to check her name, because, well, that's a thing. I need to just check how... Because you know what it's like. If I spell it wrong and I send you to the wrong dude, that would be embarrassing, now, wouldn't it? Oh, how many L's she got in that? She's only got 1 L. I'm sure that's not how you spell it. Dog, will you sit the still? That lady, she is awesome. She does lots of tatting. As we all know, I love my dogs with all my heart. I would love them more if little crackhead there would stop winding us all up. Leap! Leap! An ant moved in Nova Scotia. Leap! Leap! An ant farted. Leap! Leap! Leaf fell off a tree. Nobody cares. At all. In the slightest. To be honest, I don't care if someone rings the doorbell. They can sod off. Just chill, dog. Just chill, darling. So, if you want to have a go, have a go. Do it with the cheapest shit. You can do it with crayons, pencils, frankly anything you like. All you need to do is be able to, you could use crochet hooks, knitting needles, although that would get a bit complicated, but you could frankly use all manner of things. I mean, for example, not that this is the best example of it, but you could use she's just dropping it, you could use these as bobbins if you had to. You just wind your thread round it and then you just don't stab yourself with the pointy end. If you're British, there are a number of good people to buy lace stuff from. I find myself primarily buying from Biggins lace, Harlequin lace, and who were the lot that I bought from this morning? Rose Ground. And that's what makes it harder to recommend for other countries, because of course chances are I haven't shipped to myself too much from over there. Now I have shipped a couple of videos, well, and I've got one, well, it looks like they haven't even shipped it yet. That's right, I only bought it 3 weeks ago. Slightly irked, but there we go. So it is, you know, I can't really recommend something local, but to be honest, there are some bobbin shops just the other side of the border. I haven't Googled excessively for America and Canada because, well, why would I? Ads in 3 minutes, joy. But it's one of those things is that there's no wrong answer. There isn't. I mean, the style of pillow, the kind of bobbin is all personal preference. Now, I quite like this for something like this because instead of working down a square one and trying to end up, you know, in the bottom 3 inches of your square, you can roll this round and everything else kind of stays in the middle. So I kind of like roller pillows, and I really love the fact that I found this one with this huge wide roller on it. Most roller pillows kind of are quite thin, but as long as they're wide enough for the thing you're making, it really matters not. I do have another little roller pillow. I might have chucked it actually. It's a pile of poo. It's got no method of holding it still, but it's you know, it's thinner, it's smaller, it's kind of not a me thing. Because, you know. However, with that in mind, any pillow is a good pillow. One with movable blocks can be a good idea if you don't want a roller pillow. Because then you slide the box up and, you know, unstick everything from the top one and put it at the bottom, slide them up. I do have concerns with using those myself in that I just imagine I will always want to pin in between the blocks because Murphy's Law applies. But it is a very practical hobby to get started with. You don't need fancy shenanigans stuff. You can just use shit. Chances are you've got stuff around the house you could use right here, right now. One lady made a bolster pillow out of kitchen towels, the paper kind, wrapped in a towel with a bit of a kind of almost like a sock over it, but it was a bit more than the sock, but she wrapped it in some cloth. That's all it actually needs to be. It does not need to be more than that. You're not the pair. You are not the pair. This is the other thing I struggle with this, that you don't struggle with in torsion, is this the pair you wanted or not? Now, you look like the pair you wanted. No, you were, I was right, you know. These are the ones I want. It just looked wrong, briefly. So with torsion you don't get the, is this the pair I want, because it's really obvious. This can be less obvious because half the pinholes are covered up by half the other stuff that you're doing. This comes down here like this, which is very unusual for bobbin making. We've done you. We now need you. If you're ready, you come this side. So yes, if you want to have a go, I'll wait for us. That's not right. Yeah, that's not right. It's under you. You out. Oh, will you just sit still for love of God, dog? I just wish I could see. Yeah. What's wrong with that? That looks better. You then come through here, like this. Okay, 1, 2, you become you. You now come out again. You need to wander off to the side. So yes, don't get me wrong, mistakes are common for me. As I was showing earlier, the mistakes already made are plentiful. But we're learning. It's okay. Yeah, you are out of sync. I'm sure of it. Let's find the metal thing. Yeah, you started on the thing. I know what's wrong. I know what's wrong with it. I lift these up. I missed a pinhole. Yep. I missed a pinhole. That's why these look funny. It's in there. You go in there. Now you're lining up. Now you're making some sense. See, I knew I was, oh, well, I know I'm losing my marbles, but I knew. See, I may be somewhat stupid, but I'm not entirely stupid. I knew something was wrong, and I couldn't work out what it was. 2, 3, you two now come together to make you. 1, 2, 3. Now it looks better. Which is there. Which is right. Yay! You now get back inside. Like that. You two can go there and back again. Twist. Come back again. Like that. You get 2 twists. 2. Let's join view. Like that. And then the bottom ones. Join up. Like this. Ta-da! Right. You come across. And you come across. You I'm not so sure about, but I feel, I feel you, I may regret my decision, but I feel you also are part of the outside at this point. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Let's put some in a box in a stick. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's put you in a stick. That way, which means I can slide you over like that. And then we grab you and see if we can make another petal out of you. So you are you need a pin. You go in there like that. And then we undo some of you because you don't get anything like that made to us. So 1, 2, you go on the inside. So we pass you. 1, 2. You can pass you. 1, 2. If you can pass you. Yes, we do pass you. You. 1, 2. Right. You two make the top one. This way. Penny, 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 penny. Right, that's you sorted. You then come this way. Come on. So now we pin you. Give everyone a bit of a snug. Twist. You come out. To be done by you. Right, pin you. There like that. And now you go back in again. Try the bottom one. Then it's in the middle. Toe, knee. Remember my knee hurt yesterday? Well, I woke up this morning and the other knee went, me, feel sorry for me. My back's already kind of going, oh, do we have to do this again? I swear my body is made up by moaning little children. Do I have to do my homework? Why can't I play out? Why is it raining? Why? You bought me the wrong colour X marks. Yeah. So, and And with you, how many have I got? 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay. I did do one too many, as I thought I may have done. But one day I'll remember that I don't need to do those. So, we go, undo this. These make the little widget in the middle. But we're going with it because you are the right pairs. It just looks like the ones that were on this side look slightly skew. But we can live with that. And then we do through 1, through 2, and pin. Three to get to the other side. Still can't find any pin heads to grab. Pinny cross. 3, 4, and then we get through here, and we go maybe you twist. Give me a damn pin, because of course all the heads being at the bottom means it tries to bring up the entire pin pot. So you now go there like that, and you tug everything else, like that, and then you go out again. Don't twist this one because we're going back. We go back through here to the other side. Which looks really wrong, but we're going to go with it because we're just going to go with it. Give me a freaking pin. How can I have, seriously, this many pins and not be able to pick up a single one of them? You go that hole like that. And we twist and we come back through you. And then we go. You're out, so we go back through you. And we pin. Yes. Pull that out. And we go back through you. To the other side. Find a pin. Stab the hole. Cross. Back. You're out. And you meet in the middle. And you get a pin. So, voila. Now we need to do these 2 petals before we can do the bottom one, because, well, we need the pins. So, oh, my kneecaps. So, I need you to come in for some reason, or you to get out. No. No, you should be alright. You should be okay where you are. You two. You, however, are far, far away. How are you so far away? Let me have a look at a picture below. Yeah. You. And you. No, no, I'm looking too. No, I'm there. Yeah, I'm there. I'm looking too soon. I have confused myself. Not that this takes a lot these days. It has to be said. You are not necessarily wrong. You are also not necessarily wrong, for you have to get out. But I do need to do some outside ones, so that's 1, 2, 3 for you. And let's bring you in, just because. So, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I realise that's 5.5 is because there's a gimp in the middle. Let's secure you for now. Just for now. And slide you that way. And do something with you lot. Because I need to fill in the edge a little bit before I can do. You and you. Hello! Welcome to the channel. You caught me counting and being careful with my things. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for coming. Welcome to my slowly loss of insanity making bookmark. It is a very pretty bookmark, and don't get me wrong, I really do like it, but at the same time, my sanity will ebb away slowly while I make it. You need to go through here. 1, 2. I am not the most experienced lace maker. In fact, arguably, I'm quite a very young lace maker in terms of experience. I did a few strips when I was a kid, skipped ahead like 40 years, and then woke up one morning with brain going, hey, remember you did this? Vaguely. I want to do more, and this is kind of where I'm at. So I've made a couple of things. Primarily on this stream, I am making a net curtain. Now, the reasoning behind the net curtain is I tend to only read ebooks, so I have no real need for bookmarks. I'm not really a lace enjoyer. I don't want it on my clothes. I don't need it around my house. I don't want it on, I'm not into frills. But at the same time, I really enjoy making it, which kind of is awkward when I have no real want for it once made it. Now, there are many styles of lace making, generally governed by where they were originated. So, there's quite a few British ones. There might be quite a few other place ones, but you hear you hear of a thing from this country and a thing from that country. But for some reason, we in the UK seem to have a number. And they are quite different. Which is kind of surprising, but for some reason we've got 3 or 4 fundamentally different lace kinds. And this one is known as Buckinghamshire, because it came from Buckinghamshire. Now, Bucks is generally a posher area, so not too surprising. Honiton comes from nearer my hometown. Honiton is generally small, applique motif type stuff. And then there is Bedfordshire lace, which is twiggy. That's a good word for it. If this was Bedfordshire lace, instead of a background mesh with flowers and other things on it, you would have twigs. You would have almost like an outside shape with twigs for the flowers to be stuck on the ends of, and the flowers would be made of what are known as tallies, so they'd be almost like hard little leaves, and so, and by the way, I suck at tallies. I also suck at picots, and picots are little knobbly edge things, for which I A, suck at them, and B, don't like how they look, so the fact that I suck at them doesn't really bother me, because I don't want to do them. So I'm choosing not to do the picots on this particular pattern, because, well, I suck at picots, and it generally looks like something's been chewing on it a week if I did, so that's generally not a good idea. So we kind of skip that part, because it is technically optional, after all. I mean, it is tradition that they have these bits on them, but I'm allowed to not like a bit. Like most crafters, every crafter has one thing about their hobby that they don't like. Usually it's the sewing of ends, and I think that's a universally craftable, hated given. But we are looking to... We're trying to do this bookmark. I was originally hoping to do it for Christmas. Not a fat chance. I was hoping it would go slightly quicker than this, but it's not, so it's not. You know how that kind of world can be. And as a result of not, we are, well, waiting. The idea originally is I've got 16 squares I need to make for my net curtain that I'm making, and they are made of 4 triangles, 4 identical triangles, so that's 72 identical triangles. And to avoid brain rot, we decided that a brief adventure into other things along the way, or even just experiments in general, just a small break from it to give it a bit of a, my brain cells a bit of a reset and a time off from literally, didn't I just do this yesterday, was a good thing. So here we are. I got to the end of Triangle 10, and well, here we are making a bookmark. But as I said, this is going a bit slower than I'd have liked. But lace is not a race, just as well, because I'd lose substantially. I don't think you were cross before I did that. No, you weren't. No, definitely not. I mean, it'd be nicer if it did kind of get a move on a little bit. I mean, there's a race and then there's dawdling. And some of it is what I would have to argue as my inexperience. Some of it is no more than that. But the bit I find the most time consuming is picking up these friggin' pins. No, it is... The pinning bit, for me, is the slowest portion. And the actual twisty bit, and getting on with it, isn't so bad. It's the grabbing your next pin and stabbing it that takes the predominance of my time. If lace was doable without the pins, it would go a hell of a lot faster, you know. I need to go outside to make with you. Stabby, pulley. You can now go through you. To the edge. Back. Across to the other side. The other thing is you spend half your life adjusting lengths of bobbin because it's a lot easier and feels a lot better in your brain cells when the lace bobbins are roughly the same length. One's longer or shorter, it kind of throws your brain cells off a little bit. And in doing that, of course, you have to stop, you then have to do the thing. And because of the size of the pins and the threads, it's quite easy to accidentally not see where you're putting a pin and put it in the wrong hole, miss a bit, and all that kind of stuff. Because underneath all of here are hundreds of little dots, and, well, not quite hundreds, but tens of dots. It's very easy to not put a pin in one of them and then realise later. It can also be harder to decide whether you actually have the bobbins you want for a spot or not. And here we come to the shenanigans portion of this battle. you. Now, you two are the middle ones. So, you get twisted, you go through you, and you get a twist, and we do a pin. So this is very, very, it feels very, very wrong, but apparently this is the right way to do it. So we go with the float, you go back in the middle, twisty twisty, you're ready to go round the next petal, and I need to do the same with you. So unleash the hordes of you, and I need to do the entire petal on this side. I thought I'd done that one. For some reason, I really thought I'd done that one. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. And stick you on a stick. And out the way. I'm going to stick you on a stick. Put you out the way. And work with you. Now, I need some of you. Yeah. Now, where were you going? You're going to that one. So I definitely need a pair of you. So you go into the top hole. That one. That one. Which means you can go in through there. And then we do it is, but I think because the visibility through the pins is so shockingly poor, it does dampen the spirit a bit, because what happens when you pull the pins out is you reveal how well you're doing and you think, wow, that looks really cool. Oh, except for that screw up. Oh, and I screwed up there. Oh, and I screwed up that bit as well. Oh, I completely messed that bit up. And by the time you finish kind of working out that you screwed it all up, it would just be so much easier if you could see. I mean, let me show you an example. So let me move these to the middle and bring. So let me pull this out here just to move these down here for you, and we will roll back and I can show you a little more of what I mean. Because here on top, as you can suddenly see, is, and she says zooming up a bit, this is when it's not going to zoom up very much, isn't it? And we'll go across. Right, so here are the tops of the flowers that I've already done, and I revealed the first flower yesterday and I was like, wow, that's really looking good. I mean, all of these are beautifully round. You can see the difference between the pin bit, where you can't see shit, and the reveal bit, and you go, great, looks great. Except I fucked up here. I also fucked up here and here. And there's some shenanigans that goes on over here, but this one was looking slightly better. And it looks like there's a potential shenanigans about here. And you do all of this, and so, but of course, by the time you've got, well, it does, but it also, as the maker of it, it is disappointing when you look at it and go, botch, 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 botch. And because you tried so hard to do it right. Now, to err is human. I get that. There is a beautiful phrase in some Eastern things where perfection is only true by godliness. Well, I think that's very true. I think it is like less than 1%. However, it's still infuriating. It's still disappointing. It's still annoying when, as you've seen me, I've gone, that doesn't look right, and I've gone back and I've poked it and I've worked out what's right, how to fix it, and yet there's still stuff wrong with it. And I think that's what makes it really hard, is that there is the bit of you that's trying really, really hard to make it right. That's right, I can pull out a few more pins now, so while I'm here I'm going to do that. Just because we can, and we like pulling out pins, because it's one of my favourite things to do. Because then you get to see more of it and go, bollocks, as you discover more things you've screwed up. Because that does seem to be the primary purpose of pulling pins, is to go, for goodness sake, yeah, really? I couldn't do that bit even, without screwing it up, apparently, So let's pull some of you out. And we can have a good look at flower number 3. Decide whether flower number 3 is badly botched or just mildly blotched. So other than it does, and it is a fair thing that to the lesser trained eye, a lot of the mistakes aren't apparent unless you physically point them out. So from that point of view, you've got to be fairly grateful that it doesn't, it's not like there's half a flower missing or something. But to be honest, it would be quite difficult to miss that level of point. So let's have a look. Top of this one looks a bit dodgy. Something not quite right about this. I expected more of the complete circle like this one than this one. Something funky went on a bit at the top here. I don't know quite what's wrong with it. It looks more like a tension issue. Clearly I missed the pinhole and did the wrong pinhole because I screwed that petal up there. What I did with that one is there's a pinhole here, and this should have had a bit to continue on this, but I didn't. I used it for this instead, which should have been in a pinhole about here. Hence the others are a little bit more square in the middle. But you know what? I've seen worse. I've definitely seen worse. Just gonna go through and pull out to the top of the lozenge on this side a bit, just because we can. Because as I say, we enjoy pulling pins. We enjoy the visibility of seeing what we've done. I like to have a good number of pins behind me, but at the same time, I like to see what I've done. But you know what? As you said, Tenchi, the number of errors is... I mean, to me, they stand out, otherwise I wouldn't spot them so quick. But part of that is because, well, A, I made it and I know what I was supposed to be doing, or what I was trying to do when I did it. But you know what? Yeah, it doesn't look straight. This doesn't look straight, does it? It looks kind of offset a bit. Whatevs. Bite me. But you know what? 3 flowers. It's... I mean, for scale, there's a finger, so, it's quite small. I've seen worse. Definitely seen worse. I mean, it kind of looks like the picture a bit. I mean, obviously with my own unique mistakes in it, but we are getting there slowly, which is part of the point of lace. We are getting there slowly. So bit for you. There you go. So let's put you back on the end. Out the way. Right. You back on this end. Out the way. Right. Now, let's see. We have got all of you, but we need you to go down the next line. So, 2, 3. But I am pleased with it. And it's only when you pull the pins out do you realise whether or not you like it, frankly. It's a bit like waiting for paint to dry. Until it's dry, you can't really judge it. You know, maybe you'll like the colour, maybe you'll hate the colour. You know, like everything, you can only really judge it once it's properly finished. And in lace making, by the time you've got as far as pulling the pins out, you're probably not going to go back and fix it, which is what makes the mistakes so disappointing. I do not need to leave quite so many pins in, but if I've got to the pin pulling stage, chances are I'm still not going back to fix it. So, it is a thing. Right. Now you come through there. You come through there. Right. Now we need to twist you a couple of times. And we do. Cross, twist. So yes, I am very pleased with it. I clearly have quite a bit more bookmark to go because it goes down here somewhere. This is distinctly a large bookmark. If anything, slightly larger than a normal bookmark in my humble opinion. The last one was tiny. Let me show you the last one. If I have my little box of yumminess. So as you're new, let me share with you the squares that I am making. I will show you one square because you don't really need to see both of them because they're identical. So this is the square that I am making. This takes kind of 50 to something hours of casings, but this is the square I'm making. This is a process known as torsion. It is done on a square grid, a standard boring square grid. And yes, I can see thousands of errors in that, so let's put that back because, well, I don't need to concentrate on the errors of yesterday. Then this is the bookmark that started this side project. As you can tell, it's tiny. I mean, I don't know many books where, I mean, yes, it would separate some pages, so it would function as a bookmark, but it is tiny. I mean, it disappears under 2 fingers, right? It is tiny, but I did this. These offending things on the outside that look kind of furry. Let me zoom in again for you. Go this way this time. Right, these things of furry, bobbly terribleness on the edge. These are my efforts at Pico, which suck. There are a couple which are here, which are nearer the mark, but they look like bad pinholes to me. That's my problem with Picos, is they look like bad pinholes. They look like pinholes that you got the thread a bit loose around, and it just looks... Well, it makes this one look old and dog-eared before it's even old and dog-eared. For this is only, what, a week and a little bit old? Yet it looks like it's been around 100 years. It's clearly seen better days. And that is because I suck at Picos. But I really quite liked the little eyes in the middle with the holes. and the little swirly bits down the side. See, it's I've got rough fingers, and so I keep catching on all of the threads, which really doesn't help. But you know, but it started the fact that while it is very girly, lacy, frilly kind of stuff, I actually quite liked it. And so I have bought a few patterns to get my brain cells going, because I can design my own. I'm capable of that. It's a matter of drawing things and placing them on a grid, pretty much. So with that in mind, I didn't make up this bookmark. I did redraw it, because the original drawing is very inconsistent. That's the word. To the point, the instructions for the flowers were undecipherable, because they showed 3 flowers, and they showed not the order of working, but some of how the threads would move through the flower. Each one is different. So which is the right one? And the answer is pretty much none of them. So but knowing that this is an approximate direction, we have come to where we're at. So we are trying. And one of the key parts of lace making is consistency. So whatever you do, if you stay with it, generally it is the plan. Obviously making mistakes doesn't help, but I need to do another row on the outside, I think, but we'll do that in a minute. So yes, it is the unpinning for me it's the unpinning that brings the satisfaction, and I didn't twist those first. Douche. So yeah, for me it's the unpinning portion that brings the most joy, because especially with this, seeing your work through the pins is quite difficult. It is only truly once you pull out the pins that you actually get to see it. And seeing my flower for the first time yesterday did bring a considerable amount of joy. Surprisingly so, in my mind. Whoops, I don't want to push you down quite so far. I need to hold back the hordes there. So, you know, I'm really pleased with it. I'm hoping to give this bookmark away at the end of my efforts. Now, you two. Things mate with pins a lot in lace making, which is highly aggravating. And there looks to be a mark on the paper, but the mark on the paper is just the edge of the ring above. So that's okay, because you come out and do that. So yes. Oops, nearly didn't pin that. Idiot. So yes. And then you come out this side and mate with you. The going in and out between the fat threads, which are known as gimps. Who comes up with these stupid names? But going in and out of the fat threads is an art form, You then do this. But no, I'm feeling quite pleased with myself. I am pleased with how it's turning out. Now, you come over here to and under you. Oh no, not yet. Nearly, forgot to do the mill. And I'm sure there are vastly experienced lace makers who, if they came into here, would go, "Oh my goodness, you can't possibly be doing that." Oh no, you don't want to do that. Probably not, is the short answer to that. Through you. 1, 2, 3. Pretty confident of that. I think you 2 are the threads of choice. My table rocks, and because it is designed to go on a slope, because lace making is often done with your pillow on a slope, but my autistic brain cells don't like that. Twist it. Sad one anyway. You can go back in here now, like that. For I have now done this petal, and you now need to come in through here. 1, 2. You need to come and shag with something in the meantime. So I need to have done a bit of you. The rest of you I'm done with for now. 1, 2, let's put some of you back. 1, 2, 3. Got ads in a couple of minutes. You can go in. You can go in. Like that. 3, 4, 5. Yep. You go around there like this. To try and hold you up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'll need some of you to do the bottom one. Let's see what we need. Now, you and you come in initially. That's fine. And you. You can come out to shag with you. put you in the bottom hole, not the top hole. That's why I look funny. Right. You're now in the right hole. That makes you the better hole. That's better. You go back over there. You come back in here. Like this. 1, 2. It could be slightly longer. And you get to do the bottom one. 1, 2. So, you now, too far down, but you're not. Okay, so you come in like this, and you do this. That hole. You come through here. Do the mate with you. That hole there. You now come back in. Do the bottom one. Oh, ow. Cramp in my back. Thank you, Doug. You meet in the middle. There you go, hopefully you're all back from ads now. But we have finished another flower. And I'm just piling up some bobbins because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To do the one in the middle, this one, realistically, I need a pokey thing. Where's my pokey thing? While I can start it now, because I've got lots of stuff up here, to complete it, I need to have kind of got this kind of point worked, right? So I need down to here, and the same will be true over here. I've kind of got further on that side. So I need to do a bit more of this. Then I need to do some of the surrounding bits. And then I can do flower in the middle. But you can't do all of these bits, so I can't, for sake of the argument, just work down to here and work across, because I need some of these to come down and meet to make these points. So you have this kind of V shape that you end up leaving gaps in the middle, which is why kind of we're almost to this flower. There is actually another pinhole at the top there that we need to work on. And in fact, because we are kind of already here in the middle, we should do that. So, extract you, and extract you, because you can go to the side. In fact, let's pin you up, just because we like the safety of keeping you all trapped from escaping into chaos. Like that. Move you over there. And we need to look at this bit, because there is a pinhole in the middle. Now the question is, I've done you, I've done you, so you next, I think you are. So 1, 2, 3, bring you in. 1, 2, 3. There you go. 1, 2, 3. I'm sure there are people who are going, oh, you should only do 2, and then you should cover your pin. Not caring. This is my flower. I will do it this way. 1, 2, 3. You go in. You go. 1, 2, 3. Scoot, and then you go that way. So now you're at the top of the flower. You are next. 1, 2, 3. You go in there, like so. It's funny, sometimes they don't look blatantly obvious where they go, and sometimes they do. hopefully you'll come back another day. I'm here most days. I varied the times a little bit. Today is a slightly earlier stream than normal because normally I would be working on a Friday and I finish at 12 and I start the stream at 2. But during the rest of December, it's a bit random, hence I don't have it scheduled because it depends when I wake up, how awake I'm feeling, the mood I'm in, what I've got up to, whether I've got sidetracked and completely forgotten, and a whole pile of other stuff. So, but I generally am around every day. If you follow, you'll get notified, usually, as to the stream starting. And you are welcome to come anytime you like. We would like to see you again. So, feel free to come back at any time. I know I'll need you again in a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stick you out the way just to get you out the way. Stick. 1, 2. Another bobbin. There we go. That's a stick worth. That. And you go around each of you like that. Grab you. And here we work out we need to do edge bits before we get too keen. But we do have, I think, why do you look in the wrong hole? No, it's not. It's just hiding. It's just hiding. But you then get to sod off over there, and you do like that. To work the triangle down on this side. So, you meet with you. I know what I haven't done. I haven't put my music in my ear. Oh. Yay! My new auto mod blocky things blocked it. Had one of those spam bots about the cheap viewer things, and actually got it. Yay! Normally I have to delete it, whereas this time it didn't actually even make it as far as visibility. We have progress, people. We have progress. Put one more. No, don't slide. I saw that. You two, you go on the inside. I just told you off for that. And you go this way. You meet in the middle. Over. Oh. You go out. Twiddle. Like that. Back in again. Also, my new slippers are good though. My feet are nice and warm, which is pleasant. No, I saw that. Can you stop? Right, now. I can't fill any more down this side until we have done some of the flower in the middle. But that's okay. We're cool with that. This is okay. You're a bit short, so I'll make you a bit longer. So you fit in with everybody else. So 2, 3, 4, 5. And stick. I really envy the people who just kind of don't have this burning need to constantly put sticks and things. 1, 3, 4, 5. Actually, we'll put all 6 of you in a stick. I really do envy them, and the fact that they just kind of pile their bobbins up. I do not share this confidence. I will say this though, I bought these. These are, clearly, big pins. You may recall one stabbed me in the foot earlier this week, remarkably resembling, in a former life, this one. All that remains of it is this, because the rest of it tried to get me in the foot. It broke on my shoe, and this bit was in the heel, and the rest of the bit was in my foot. The word ow did not entirely cover this situation. But what is slightly disappointing, I mean, they're nice little divider pins. I mean, you know, quite like them. But at £2 each, I did expect more than one. I will say. I did expect more than one. I expected a pair, to be honest. Well, that's £6 worth of pin. That's kind of excessive. But as I say, I do like them. I'm just not sure I like them that much, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to put them in my pin cushion. This is where they should really live. Like that. There we go. Because I do have a pin cushion of odd pins and a needle. So here are the bigger ball end pins on this side, and then colour coded little pins with balls the other side. They also remembered to send me more of the extra thin bendable pins, and as you may recall, when I get, I haven't got one, when I get the pins of these pins, the pins I'm using for this project, these size pots are full, whereas as you can see, this boils down to less than half. If you do this to it and give them a bit of a shake, it's actually even less than that, because if I pick this off, you can see it's barely up to the bottom. It's kind of this much of the pin, so you don't get a lot of pin for your £9 with the stupidly fine pins that bend every time you say the word bin. So I also got me some thread. I got this, which is slightly thinner thread than the one I'm using from here, but I quite like the idea of that. I also got from these people some other thread, which is that a different size? No, that's the other size then. So I got these two. This is roughly the equivalent of that. That'll be the equivalent of the new lot. Just because they existed, I thought I'd try them, see if I liked the brand, because alternative choices are good. Don't mix them in your project generally, because, well, it usually shows on any project if you mix materials. Where are we at? We need to start the flower, I think. So I'll put you over there. And we'll grab you, for you are the middle. So yeah, I am pleased with that. Now, do I need to do another one before I do you or not? So you get to go in, that's for sure. And you get to go in. Because you make up the top two. Now the question is, no, I need you two to shag with things on the other side. So I need you to have done this. Alright. You can go back in there. Because hopefully, I will be needing you again later, but actually, let's just put not round there, because that's annoying. I'll put these pin ones. So let's put you there for a minute. Keep you out of the way. Now you can go in here like this. And you need you. No, you don't. You don't, but you... Why do you have the other pink one? You can go over there for good measure. You get to also go in. feel like I split threads then. Here we go. You come back in. Do the bottom one. The middle. Backache. Oh. Definitely need to have a look around and see if there's a better way to do stuff. I wonder if I can dangle it from a boom mount. Probably not. Anyway, so you go through here and get a twist. A pokey pin. Back in again. A couple of twists. You go out. Get a twist. Get a pokey stick. That hole there. Come back in. You can join in the middle. Here. Right. Snugness. Now we work out how we're going to fill the holes. You two need to mate. Fill that hole there. Confident of it. Well, it looks like it's got a pin in it. Has it got a pin? I can't tell. There's a pin. I can't see that shit. Not that phone. This phone. I've got to the stage of using my phone like a magnifying glass. I want the bit in the middle. Find the bit in the middle. There it is. I've done that bit. That's okay. So, in which case you don't need to do this. Although I could have sworn it did. Is there a middle? You go to the top. You this way. You are also fit to come this way. So are you. Not one of you. One of you is an escape. So, need to go in there. Now we do cross twisty the shenanigans of one of these petals. Yoink. Why is it always the same spot in my back? Anyway, cross, twisty. Stand with you. You just do 2, 3. I've got a pin there. Stabby pin. Give everyone a tweak like that. Do you come back in again? Twist. And in at the bottom. Cross, twisty, twist. You meet in the middle. Cross, twist. Forward a little bit for you. I just noticed it wandered off the top of the screen. There you go. Cross, twisty, twist. Now, you come through there. 1, 2, 3. And you come through you. 1, 2, 3. And I think you come through. No, you don't come through you. I'm going to try and remember that you don't need to come through you. Because we need you for the bit in the middle. Now we need to do the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. So you fit beautifully in here. For a second, just to kind of give me a bit more space. You go for that, and we grab you. Now, you and you look like you need to meet. you. And worry about you for a second. Give me a pin. See how far we get. We have you, and you need to come in through you, two, and you, because you're the top part, the other half of the top part, and the left side of the top. Go in at the top, give everybody a tug, and we can do you because you do shenanigans. Who woke you up? I think you're dreaming it, dear. Dear dog, I think you're dreaming it, or it's my neighbour. Either way, it's fine. We do not care. No. Oh, for goodness sake! You wind up everybody! You do wind up literally everybody. Get a bit more comfortable while the dog's moved out of his hole. I definitely need to find a way to make this this orientation and to the left. But then my computer table doesn't reach that far with all the cables. Maybe I can move the computer a bit. That's a thought. It's fine, kids. I really don't care. It's my neighbours, they're allowed to do things, you know. They have lives. They have visitors. Yeah, that's a taxi for the neighbours. It's not for us. He is not stealing things. He has not kidnapped you or me or your dog food. The world is fine. This needs to go out. And shag with you. That spot there. Then you come back in again. And you get to twist with you. two, you two, and you in the middle. You get a twist and you go through two. Get a pin. In that hole. There. Tension, twist. Three. In that pinhole. Tension, twist. Through 4. Just freaking give it a rest, dog. Twist. And you go in that hole there. You come back. You go. You're done. So push you to one side. And then we go. Side. Seriously, back. It is such a small degree of twist. How can you be so pretty? Oh, for Christ's sake, come on. If you didn't fall for her every frigging time, you could just stay where it's comfortable. Twist. Find a pin. Stick it in the hole. Use that hole there. Come back. You are done. Push you out the way. So. In the hole for you. Now I can't see where the hole is because there's too much shite. There we go. Twist. Done. Give me a pin. Go in that hole. Twist. You're done. And then you've remet in the middle. Oh, come on, back. See, if I can sit in almost any other position, it goes, yeah, that's fine. But the moment I'm looking at my lace pillow, it goes, no. Well, I don't see why, because I'm twisted in the direction, so it's actually directly straight ahead. There's a pinhole in here somewhere, and I can't see it. There it is. Phew. Now, you come in like this. Go. Like that. And you come in. Now we do No, we don't do that yet. We don't do that yet. Don't do that yet because we have to go round the edges first. So, I was wrong again. Of course you've come unknotted, because that just is annoying. Like that. Right. Oh, of course there's lights coming. So, near emergency, but we sorted that out, that's fine. I need to fill in some of the edges. And I've mostly got you, so we push you to one side and we have a look at where we're at. If you get up, dog, you are never getting back in that spot. Now, visibility is definitely the biggest problem. Where are we with this? So I have one more on the outside, and you meet with you. I'm confident of that for the moment. Adds in less than a minute. You there, which then trickles down through you. Where are you from? Why are you dangling? You are actually from there. Right. Now flip. And I genuinely, I wish I could see. one more layer from here. I need to do more. So, a few can you two. So, you two come out. So we need to go 1, 2, 3. 3. Try and slide all the way up to that hole there. And tighten everybody. In. 3. Cinch and cross. You now hit you. 2, 3. Okay, so now we can re-stick some stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that. Go over there for a minute. I now have enough to go around that, because you are. This doesn't feel right. Yes, it is. Just looks a bit funny. Stop wobbling. Being annoying. See, it really easily tilts to the right, not so much to the left, which is why I constantly end up rejigging it. That way. Because literally, I barely have to touch it and it goes that way. I have to press really hard to get it to go that way. And I can't tighten it anymore. I keep trying. But the tightening thing, wherever it is as tight as it will go. It's increased quite a lot. Originally it wouldn't even make it to halfway. So if it was a clock, it would make it to about 5 o'clock. Now it's more like 9 o'clock. Clearly the dent in the bit where it meets the wood is dentifying, for want of the word. It's growing in dent. I have to turn it upside down to see what it's doing. You'd have thought they'd have put some form of plate on it or something, but probably not. just need my back to chill slightly. Just say the moment I stop leaning over my lace cushion, I mean, I'm not going to say it's all sweetness and light, but it chills out quite quickly. But the moment I kind of lean into it a bit, it kind of goes, actually no, let's not. You come around there once. And pin. Move it straight on that. And then back on the inside. 2. You get back on the inside. 2. That's you 2. Now you need to mate with you 2 when you've done your thing later. This side, we need more bobbins. Let's do some stick then, because we kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of done with you for a minute. Gives us a lot more room, so let's move you over and unleash you guys and extract you out of there and see where we're at. Now, you 2 and you 2 need to do a thing. Yes, 1, 2, 3. You 2 are doing a thing. You to do the next thing. Like that. You 2 do this thing. Which gives you that. Itchy. Excuse me one moment. I need a scritchy, itchy. I think I've got dog hair somewhere it shouldn't be, but it itches, whatever it is, and I can't see. Let's see why you're itchy. Scritch. Right. Let's see if we can do the next petal then. So you need to go through you, twisty, through you, twisty. No, not through you. I need another layer. I need to do one more before you join those ranks. So 1, three. You two a little longer because not helpful. Cross, 1, 2, 3. You. Now, you go inside and do twisty, twisty. You are now short. So I'll make you a bit longer like that. And we should have the beginnings. Oh, yeah, that was my shoulder blades. Don't ask. Actually, it's not my shoulder blades. I think it's actually, it's hard to explain, but it's kind of more like your collarbone area cracking, which is slightly weird. You're the edge, you're the middle, you're the other edge. Cross, twisty, twisty. Let's get this going. I actually need another layer on the right hand side. We will work that in a minute. Back 1 second. Twisty, twisty. Itchy, 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 itchy. Cross, twisty, twisty. Pin. Cross, twisty, twisty. Cross, twisty, twisty. And that one. Cross, twisty, twisty. And come out. And I think one more layer this side. So, 2, 3. Twisty, cross, twisty, twisty. Pin out, cross, twisty, twisty. You come under here, over there. 1, 2, 3. You You meet in the middle. 1, 2. Twisty. You go under this one. Twisty. Under this one. Twisty. And then under this one. Twisty. And then we do over you. Twist. Pin all the way back here. Strokey, twisty. Oh. Ah. Ew. I do not need brown dog assistance. It is backache. Unless you're going to offer to do some form of Thai massage by walking gently in all the right places. Which, I know you would if you could, but you can't because, well, you're a clumsy oaf. And frankly, you can't even stand on my leg for 2 seconds without mauling it. I don't fancy the rest of me being mauled. No. But I do love you. Yes, I do. Very much. Yes. You're a good girl. When you're asleep. Right. You now come back through here. Like this. Twisty. And back through you. Twisty. 1, 2. And you meet in the middle. Twisty. Stroke. Twisty. Cross. Twisty. And I possibly need to do some more rows this side, but we'll find out in a minute. Get the top there. Snug. Cross. Twisty. The other side. Cross. Twisty. That's under my fingernail. Top. Cross. Twisty. You come outside and you go 3. Do the dance with you. 1, 2, 3. Come back in again. 2. And then pin in here. Twisty, snug. Now you can go cross, twisty. Come on, you slightly longer, please, thank you. And you go in that hole, there like that. And cross, twisty. And we go see what we can do with this side. So, you need to get out. 1, 2, 3. And be slightly longer, in my humble opinion. And so do you. And you do the dance. 1, 2, 3. And we'll pin you first. Oh. Determined to get to the bottom of this flower. You go in that hole there, and then you come back in again. 1, 2, cross, twisty. Cross, twisty. Into the middle, cross, twisty. twisty. Over, under. 1, 2, 3. 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 It is like we twisted last summer. But to be honest, I generally think this looks a little nicer. Let's time to stick a few things together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's put some sticks in. Actually, you missed some, aren't you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. So. And then we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to take 6 for you actually, because I'm looking at the next stick. And 6 in you because you can. You join into this stick here. So there's room for you. Then we take out our magic pins of preventatives. Plug you there and you over there. You back in the pot. Now, why was I doing that? Because, my dear friends, I'm going to move you out from being tangled around 8,000 pins. Like that. Into the middle a little bit. Like this. And we're going to roll back because I think we can undo the lozenge. And that will make me happy. Well, it will make me feel good because it was only it doesn't feel that long ago I was making it. Because the lozenge, I think, was roughly where I left you yesterday. So if we play out the pins for the lozenge, you'll see what I mean by the lozenge in a minute. It's the shape of it. It's not really a lozenge, but it is kind of the shape of it. So we pull these out like this. Actually see it. Okay, so let me zoom in and up and across, and there in the middle is my lozenge, and it actually doesn't look like I fucked it up. It actually looks okay. So, if I move up just a little bit more. No, oh, it does want to go up a little bit more. There you go. And I'll move the pillow down just a tiny bit. There is the top part of our bookmark. And it's actually looking pretty good, I thinks. As I say, this doesn't look overly straight. I don't know why. Bite me. But, what do you think, peoples? I'm going to take a photo, because I'm quite pleased with that. thank you. Hello, Super Bits and Bobs. How are you? This is for the strange stuff that I get up to when I'm not playing games. I've been playing PoE too, by the way, but this is what I also do in my spare time. So, there you go. So yes, I feel fairly pleased with myself. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's mistakes. Of course, there's mistakes in it. It wouldn't be my work if it didn't have mistakes in it. But it actually doesn't look half bad. It's looking kind of cool. So there we go. You can just see the top of a little flary bit going on down there. But I is pleased. I is definitely pleased with that. And on that note, sadly, I've just seen another faux pas. As I said, the biggest problem with all of these things is, remember we discussed some of the problems earlier. Well, if we go back to this one where I screwed this bit up here, I've just noticed what the hell is going on with this thread here. This is curious. But it's the way it is. It's going to stay that way now. I ain't going back and fixing it. You've seen how long it takes. It's taken me 3 hours, and I've done nearly 2 flowers. To be fair, that's not a bad speed. That is not bad speed, but at the same time, 2 flowers. For scale, fat finger. 2 hours to do 2 flowers does not feel like we're racing through at speed. But to be honest, if in 3 hours, well, 3 hours, I've done 2 flowers. It does hold some hope. But what is more to hope for today is A, my takeout dinner, because it's Friday and I have takeout on Fridays because, well, why not? And I shall go back to playing PoE 2 for a little bit. But I'm really pleased with that. That's looking pretty cool. As I say, there are mistakes. Of course there are. Thank you. Glad to see you here. Thank you for coming. I know this is not quite your bag. But hey, I appreciate you coming anyway. In fact, I appreciate you more for coming, knowing that it's probably really not your bag. Because, you know, it's a bit like when my ex-husband used to go to a few things, and after busting my knee, took me to a kind of wool festival thing. He could not have been less interested in that if you'd given him £1 million to be bored. It was the epitome of everything he hated. But he offered to do it because I bust my knee and I missed the one I wanted to go to. So I went to this one, and I'm never going to another one because it was really quite dull even for me. And it's my stuff. And I was kind of like, in the end, I had to force myself to buy something so it looked like that I'd found something I really wanted. Yeah, to be honest, I jokingly said recently that should I have an early demise, chances are some of my crafting supplies have fallen over and killed me and trapped me. Because the day I go, this house should be a museum. Oh, and the other house, because technically I have to. And it's just full of crafting stuff. I mean, wall to wall, frankly. I mean, there is some stuff for me, so, there's some clothes and a kitchen, but I've got a loom the size of a Land Rover, and then I've got other looms, and I've got bags of this, and piles of books, and piles of this, and boxes, and boxes, and boxes of wool, and it's frightening. It is frightening. To an outside person, I realise it's frightening. To me, of course, it's a big pile of potential. But of course, like everything, you've got to be in the right mood to do it. And currently, brain cells are in the mood for lace making, so this is what we're doing. Well, it is, and this is why I get a little bit picky with some of the crafting in games, because you're going, something like that, you can't, no, you can't, no, you've got to, no, this is poor animation, or this is, this is not how that works, and, so yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I can take raw fleece off well, I can't fleece the sheep myself, but given a pair of scissors and a still sheep, I probably could. I can then turn that into wool. I can turn that into a number of objects, from clothing to tableware to pretty things. Well, not that I'm into pretty things, but pretty things, such as, if I spun it fine enough, I could make lace with it, although I'm not sure I would really want to spin stuff that fine, because you usually use cotton, but, this, technically you can use wool. I can make bands with it, so I can make strapping, Come the zombie apocalypse, I may be 21 stone, but I will survive, because I've got skills, I've got equipment, I can make stuff, I can make clothing, and you lot can bring me food so that I can live, and I will make stuff in return. And part of that is, I won't say it's why I do it, but I think that whole kind of, it's dying out. I've been doing some cross stitch. I can sew if I have to. I don't overly enjoy it. I don't hate it. It's just not something I would choose to do. But I can sew, so I can make. And I know how to make some clothes. Again, my mother made me as a child, so I know how it's done. Designing it, not so much. But realistically, I can make some sacks that people can wear, and taper it slightly in the right places. But it is, I'd have to make a sack and then kind of trim it while it's on you and pin it and then, sew round it a bit more. But, I can make bedding, I can make a lot of stuff. And I like the fact that I can do that. I like the fact that many of these things I've taught myself, with a few YouTube videos and general just determination to work it out. So like these flowers, working out how these flowers are made. I mean, okay, so none of these are actually good, but at a quick glance, they're the right shape in the right place, doing roughly the right thing. The minor nuances of what did I do there, why is that wonky, is irrelevant. But because normally with the fat thread, you would, like this lozenge, you get to this point and then you pass the fat thread through so that all of these can go to the middle. You do the bit in the middle and then you feed it around the outside and they meet at the bottom. That's great. And normally with flowers a bit like this, you do little rings like I did on these eyeballs here. She says, grabbing her previous little thing. So like here on this, let me just zoom over a little bit. Or zoom out a little bit, actually, is probably the better option. Doop, and then go over. So these little eyeballs here, there's one thread at the top and it twists and it goes around the edges. And I kind of expected to have two fat threads so that one goes on the top, one goes around the inside, and that they make like figure eights, making the... But no, it's one. And the problem, as you can imagine, to do any one point, you have to have the 2 points diagonally either side. So when you want to get this fat thread up and out, well, you can't do that hole until you've got that hole and that hole. But this doesn't do that, and that doesn't do that, and it's just confusing. But I do seem to have got the swing of either that, or I've completely mullered it. Either way. But I am feeling really pleased with myself. As I say, I'm kind of teaching myself as I go. I mean, literally, while I bought this as a pattern, all you get is the little dots. Yes, I very much do. So, for example, gardening. I love looking at a really nice garden. I technically can go out and do it, but I won't. I'd much rather pay a dude £14 an hour to go out and do it for me, which is what I do. He's a very good dude. I like him. But it is one of those things, is there are things that I have a lot of things where, and you know, when my brain woke up and said, hey, can we do lace making? I had this hideous feeling that this was where I was heading to, on this occasion, was that my brain was going to go, I want. And then I'd start doing it and my brain would go, I didn't mean this. I didn't mean like this. No, it's like playing games. We all know that you can see a game, it looks really cool, you get it, and you just don't like it. And you can't always put your finger on it, but you just don't like it. It's not what you meant. And it's not because it's a crap game. Maybe it's even a good game. But for some reason, you and it are just not going to be friends. And I had a horrible feeling when I started doing the lace making thing that I was going to be doing some of that. And that my brain was going, yeah, do. And that the moment I started, it would go, you know what? Actually, no. But here we are, a few months later. And I'm doing more complicated, pretty things. I'm really astounded at how pretty this looks. Bear in mind, I'm not a lacy, pretty, frilly things kind of person. I will be giving this bookmark away, unless I really can't bear to part with it because there's too much effort in it. But I can't see me using it because, well, I've got a Kindle for that. But I do really like how it's looking. I like how it's turning out. And so for that, pleased. The challenge is, I feel I'm rising to the challenge. It felt a bit like, you know, yeah, I've managed to toddle across the room. Let's climb Mount Everest. But here we are, we're you know, stonking our way down. We're nearly, I'd say we're just over it's a bit more than a quarter, I guess. Is there another lozenge further down? I think there is, actually. Hang on. You can roll it up a little bit. Yeah, there's another lozenge. So we're about a third of the way through now. Yeah, about a third of the way through, maybe a bit more. So, you know, to be honest, it's not bad speed, not bad progress. Kind of pleased with that. There is room for progress. There is room for drastic improvement. Well, it is and it isn't, because all you ever do is twist pairs of bobbins. You either put left over right or right over left and mix those two in varying amounts. And so from that point of view, it technically is not hard. But it's a bit like snooker. In snooker, you line your ball up and you go, I want to knock that at, say, an angle to meet 2 o'clock. Therefore, instead of aiming, because I'm at 6 o'clock, I can't aim at 12 o'clock because that won't necessarily work. I've got to aim a little bit more to the side to knock it so it goes in for 2 o'clock. Great. That's fine. Actually achieving it, a lot harder than it sounds. And to be honest, twisting the right thing and keeping it the same and finding some of the pinholes on, like, the coal face where all the threads are lurking because they like hiding under there, can be a little challenging because, well, it's under there and you've got the fat threads in there as well helping to hide them. And so from that point of view, that is challenging, but it's not hard, it's just bothering. And it is one of those things that I would maintain that there is no reason, if you can pick up, if you've only got one hand, you can still do this. So if you can pick something up and place it over something else, you can do this. Now, lots of people don't want to, respect that. Lots of people maybe try it, don't enjoy it, respect that too. And there's, you know, like lots of things in the world, in the crafting, world, there are things you don't like doing and things you do like doing. And everyone has different things that they don't like doing. But I'm, for some reason, really drawn with this. And I do like the idea, potentially, God help my soul, of using these kind of daisies in a neck curtain environment, because of course I'm actually dodging making my neck curtain at the moment because I need 72 triangles of making for my neck curtain, and I've done 10 of them. And so some of this is to stop my brain getting bored with, I did this yesterday. This is exact, because they are all so far absolutely identical. So it does get a little repetitive, and a little repetitive for you guys on stream watching it. So to saute off into random adventures, and Bucks Point is a lot less common in terms of availability on the internet. Bucks Point is the variation of lace. And torsion, which is the thing I'm making my neck curtain in the style of, is very much used for beginners because it is a practical, repeatable, and arguably less complicated. Because of the round and the flowing and the up here, round there, up a bit, left a bit, wiggle a bit, you mate with you but not with you, and all of this kind of stuff that this involves, this is clearly not beginner. But I've only been doing this 3 months. Realistically, the 3 strips of nothing I did when I was like 9 really barely count. I mean, I vaguely remember the crossy twisty bits, but I've basically had to start again. So technically 3 months in, I'm really pleased that I have done this and it doesn't look like cat bath, because, well, when you take the pins out, there's always the thought that you didn't twist stuff properly and it now looks like cat bath. To be honest, that's a lot harder than it sounds, but certainly you can miss bits, cross bits, you know, like my funky bit over here. You know, you can make it so that it's definitely got room for improvement, but at the same time, it can be fairly forgiving. It's just unique is definitely the word for it. So I definitely would encourage people to have a go. If you're crafty minded and want to go, give it a go. You do not need fancy equipment. You do not need anything of the sort. My favourite lace pillow is the top of a foam cooler box that I got with a bunch of Cornish pasties, because they deliver them frozen, and they pack it with a load of ice things and ship it overnight, and so it arrives in a polystyrene cooler thing. So I used the lid, didn't even trim it down so it's flat. I glued some Amazon flat envelopes to the bottom to give it a bit more strength, because I didn't want to press the middle and have it snap, but that's kind of option. I put a bit of felt on the top just to give it something so that when you put pins in it, it wasn't digging the foam out, and then covered it with a piece of cloth. It's only stuck down with pins, it's not actually attached to it. It's one of my favourite pillows, and I've got this, which was fairly expensive, and I've got a couple of other pillows because, well, I'm a klepto, and so I like collecting things. I've got a crap ton of bobbins, but you don't need bobbins. You can use clothes pegs. I used big dolly clothes pegs initially, but the normal clothes pegs, ripped in half, the wooden ones, ripped in half, they work really well as bobbins. You do not need to spend a fortune. You, of course, can. And so, for example, if you went for bone bobbins, they seem to be about £12.50 to £25 each. There was a beautiful bobbin I saw recently that was a single bobbin, £35. So you can spend a lot of money if you truly want. These particular bobbins, I bought 200, 450 quid. Now, that's a lot of money, but at the same time, it's less than £1 each, right? So you don't. And for this particular project, I'm trying to think. I've got 76 bobbins. So, yeah, 76 bobbins. So, okay, would have spent nearly 70 quid on bobbins for it. But I didn't have to. I could have used a cheap set of clothes pegs. Pins are pins. A piece of paper that you can either print it out or draw it out on. It's all you really need. You do not have to do anything more than that. I chose to laminate and prick this because I have a feeling I'd make this bookmark again, and I'm probably right. I will probably use a coloured gimp thread, which is the fat ones that go around the edge, or a shiny one, or a mixture, or something along those lines. Or even potentially just go around the flowers and have the flowers and doctor it that way. The choices are mine, right? So yeah, it is kind of a curious thing to do, and I think the more other people don't do it, the more I'm inclined to want to do it. Just because, like, it's a dying out thing, and that makes me unique, rather than just average old woman sitting in a house. It makes me a little bit different to everybody else, and if you can kind of go, hey, yeah, I do all these things. It is, and I mean, don't get me wrong, lace making like this is hardly the most essential skill. Things like spinning, which I do, knitting and crochet, which I do, weaving, which I do, and sewing and stuff, all allow me to make things that are useful. Lace making is not really about use and practicality. It can look pretty. I mean, you know, handmade lace on a wedding gown. I mean, don't get me wrong, when I was looking for wedding dresses, there was a beautiful wedding dress, and the top, kind of almost everything above the boob level was kind of like a lace t-shirt as built into part of it. And it was really pretty. The price was not, but it was pretty. It was Irish lace, which is usually crochet, but another story. But it was really, really pretty, and I was quite tempted by it, but not at that price. And it had lots of noughts after it, and lots of noughts. I mean, my wedding dress was £1,000-odd, which was plenty. This was like 5 or 6 times that. And of course it would have been too small for me, but it was beautiful. So, you know, come the zombie apocalypse, lace making is not going to be a staple. It's also too slow. You can't really do speed lacing. Whereas spinning and knitting, I can technically, in the mood, I can probably make you a jumper in 2 weeks. So from that point of view, kind of worth it. Takes me longer to well, if you think of the pandemic was a bit like a zombie apocalypse. We didn't want to go outside, we couldn't go anywhere, and we had things to do. Now, I did not take up lace making then. No. I decided to knit some jumpers, which I did. I knit about 5 jumpers during the lockdown. Mainly for me, so they were rather large. And they're really nice jumpers, don't get me wrong. I even made up my own pattern, God help me. But, having a skill for when the power strike hits, when, you know, so all you need is, you know, a candlelight to work by, when you can do something with your hands, it is actually good for your mental health to make things. And as someone who does struggle with her mental health, and I'm on holiday till the end of the year, thank God, but having this to make, and then revealing like my 3 pretty flowers and my lozenge shape bit, I feel really pleased with myself. I feel like I've accomplished things. I've successfully, I won't say mastered it, but I have accomplished a functional, pretty, and when I get to the bottom, hopefully. Crafting is well known to be good for mental health, and do not get me wrong, there are men who knit, crochet, cross-stitch, make lace and all the rest of it. And so, you know, okay, you don't go down the pub and boast that you made a frilly, you know, ruffle for your wife or whatever. You know, maybe that is not going to be the boast of a decade. But your mental health for doing crafting, which is part of the reason I do so much of it, is because you start off with a pile of supplies. So, for example, this is not the best example, but it's the one I got to hand. You start off with this. Hang on, let me zoom out so you can see. You start off with this, which is a reel of cotton. And you start off with a pile of pins. You start off with a pile of bobbins. I can't be bothered to dig some bobbins out. Is that them there? But you start off with a pile of bobbins. You wind string around the bobbins. Get some paper. Poke some holes in it in the shape you want. And off you go. And you start off with literally nothing. Other than a potential pile of stuff that cost you, I don't know, 20 quid. At the end of it, that spool of cotton technically should make, calculation in progress, 15 bookmarks? I did say technically. I am terrible at estimating how much to wind onto a bobbin, so inevitably I waste a considerable amount more than I should. But the truth of the matter is it really shouldn't be much. I should be able to get like 10, 15 from a reel. And so you can do quite a lot for not a lot of money. Once you've got some basic tools, so you don't need pin pushers, you don't need, because you can lift pins with your fingernail. Look, well, you can't see that one. Pick a lower down one, pick one, yeah. Pick it up with your fingernail, pulley, 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 put it down, pokey, pokey, pokey. You do not need to buy a lot of the complicated tools. Can it help? Yes. One tool that is hard to live without is this one, which is no more complicated, really, than a bent needle. This one, where you thread the needle, so you've got some thread through it, and with this, you poke it through a pinhole, and you make a loop, so it forms a loop like this, and then you pull on this, poke a bobbin through it, and then pull this out, and it brings the other bobbin thread through the pinhole, and you get to finish it off. Pretty much, or join it together. Other than that, but you can bend a pin. You get a pair of, it's really easy to bend pins. I mean, we've seen me bending pins every day. But you can bend a needle just as easy, pair of pliers, push it against something, you've now got a bent one. You do not need to buy bent ones. You can make your own, and it really is you know, you don't need it in a complicated little wooden thing or a big fat metally kind of vice thing. Yeah, it makes it easier, but you can still hold it with your fingers. Just avoid I would say find a brick and wear off the pointy end though, so you don't shove it through your hand, because I do that a lot. But I do that picking up my pins. But crafting is good for your mental health, and it is something to encourage other people to do. So, do you want to do this? Maybe not. Do you want to do something? One good thing, of course, is woodworking, because I can tell you now, people fleece the hell out of crafting people with woodworking. Holy mother of how much? From a weaving loom perspective, there's a thing called a warping board. It literally is a square-ish, it doesn't even have to be square, but a square-ish shape or rectangular shape. As I say, it can be a bit of a, you know, slanty angles, anything you like, with bits of broom handle sticking out of it. Yes, madam, that's £180. It's a picture frame. It's something that you'd have made age 8 in wood shop. It is literally, you know, kind of get some 2x4, chop corners off down halfway so that you can join them together with a you know, drill through the ends, put a bolt and a screw through it, and then get a big drill bit and partly drill, or even drill all the way through it, doesn't really matter, so that you can ram broom hole in regular holes across and down the sides. There's no way that's 180 quid, dude. It's not even finished. It's not varnished, polished. It is raw. So it's not even sanded usually. So can we back up the price on things like that? And so, yeah, we do need to back up a little on the prices of these things. And to be honest, having the skills to make the wooden things, as I do, by the way, just to really confuse matters, I can do it, I just don't have the equipment, and I'm feeling not overly inclined to add yet more hobbies to my collection. But I am considering the price that people charge me for stuff. 3D printers is another good idea. Get into 3D printing, make useful things. Design and make useful things if that's in your skill capacity. But yeah, I definitely recommend some crafting. It doesn't have to be this, but at the same time, this is kind of fun. 3D printing is something I keep looking at because, well, yeah, I need more money. I need more income. I need more time. More to the point, everything seems to take too long. At least with 3D printing, once you've designed it, you hit print and you can go off and do something else. Unlike this, where you actually have to sit and do it. So yeah, my ads are about to hit. Oh, they're going to hit anyway. Stuff it. Yeah, I definitely encourage people to try stuff. It's good for you. Really is. Says the girl who swears like a navvy when it all goes wrong. But I'm going to call it a day for today. I thank you all for joining me. I shall be back almost certainly tomorrow at some point. For those of you who follow, you will get a notification. For those who don't follow, you can catch up on Twitch. I keep my stuff on Twitch and I upload it to YouTube as well. So you can always find it and revisit or look at previous incarnations. There's a couple where I really lose my marbles. So if you want to laugh, they're good for a giggle, because in one of them I literally end up laughing my head off and can't stop because I've lost the plot. So that was a fun game. I shall see you tomorrow. Thank you for coming, everybody. Bye-bye. Take care, everybody.